It is very safe to say at this point that both Hollywood and the media, they are actually in a very troubling and delicate position right now based on how they went way overboard with their politics, forcing it on the public, forcing it on the fans of the many actors, actresses, writers, directors, comedians that represent Hollywood and show business, and exactly how that backfired on a lot of other studios out there. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, when it comes down to The View, via ABC and the Walt Disney Company, and how they are indeed going through a massive ratings disaster as we speak, and looking at this in isolation from the Walt Disney Company's stock, which is really just not performing well at all, we know one thing in particular that has a lot to do with Sunny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, and Behar is that they will never back down when it comes to their aggressive political views that they are forcing on the American people, on anyone that tunes into their show, or anyone that doesn't even tune into their show, to just feel like that they actually need to lecture everybody. Now, we know one thing about Sunny, Whoopi, and Joy is that they are in a lot of trouble right now between themselves and ABC for various reasons, as we talked about this for many weeks. Now, we know one thing about everything in between is that the ratings disaster, it seemingly is beginning to actually, cause a lot of problems with Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny on a personal level, to the point that they're now taking it out on the public in a very different way, mind you. Now, one thing about Sunny Hostin is that she seemingly takes things the worst, right? She always seems to actually get very deeply offended over how the public is actually, saying what they have to say about The View, calling them out for their lies and their ongoing agendas. However, with many Hollywood celebrities and those in the media still forcing their politics onto their audience, one major development going on now involves more to do with the hosts of The View, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin, who have been dealing with tons of drama with ABC lately over their recent behavior. Now, recently, however, the hosts of The View got very vocal toward the public over The View's ratings disaster and how it's been falling into financial flames, essentially. For starters, Sunny Hostin delivered the following in response to The View's numbers falling along with the Disney stock as well. As a hard-working woman who knows show business well, it hurts me so much to have to admit this, but we just aren't performing the same as we once did over 9 months ago. I wake up every day in tears, sometimes knowing that we are dealing with a very difficult time right now here at ABC and Disney because of the false narratives floating around out there from MAGA and President Trump tainting our image as talk show hosts. It tears me up to have to say this, but as a television talk show host, it's what I know best. It's all I know how to do things. It is my outlet to put my politics out there with the American people. And it really is very much disheartening to know that Trump is the one who is putting a full-on stop to all of this. It's a terrible act on freedom of speech to silence us as television hosts. What MAGA needs to learn is that they need to learn to take criticism better and gain a thicker skin. The many crew members who work here at ABC for The View, their jobs are at stake because of men like Trump. And don't even get me started on J.D. Vance. Now, guys, let me just stop there for 1 second about what Sunny Hostin is actually saying here, is that she is obviously playing the victim card. I mean, there's no doubt about this, that she really is playing the victim card. She's trying to actually gain a lot of sympathy from the general public that may not know everything about the drama going on over at The View and why not just the Disney stock is tanking, but also why The View's ratings are really in a downward spiral as we speak. It's because even the long, loyal fans of The View, the very fans that once just believed everything that they were actually being told, are now beginning to check out. They're now beginning to grow a brain, essentially, beginning to actually learn and think for themselves over what Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny are saying on television, and they're really beginning to question themselves. Maybe what they're saying is just political propaganda or anything around those lines, and people are beginning to see through the mask now, and they're over and done with it. They are just shifting away to other forms of entertainment and other media outlets out there at the very minimum. So moving onwards, alright, so on top of everything here, we know that there's a lot of things going on with Sunny Hostin. We know one thing in particular is that Sunny Hostin, Alright, Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, they are all trying to just basically reverse everything when it comes to, you know, everything related to Disney as a whole, when it comes to Bob Iger and his role as Disney CEO, and everything else in between. Now, looking at, of course, Sunny Hostin, we know that she is going to continue to do this. However, Whoopi Goldberg then stepped in to deliver her views on the ratings and financial failure of The View. She goes on to say, this is not just a MAGA issue that we are dealing with right now, but it is the fact that we are dealing with so many Americans who are going to believe everything that they hear coming from President Trump. All we ever did was reveal the truth, she says, to the American people. And it's absolutely something that stirs up so many emotions within me to learn that we are struggling because of Trump's lies and how those lies are backed up by his own administration. Those like J.D. Vance, Caroline Leavitt, and Stephen Miller, just to name a few. And just so many other names I could go over. We don't deserve this, and nobody deserves this in the media. Not MSNBC, not CBS, heck, not even Fox. Trump should never have any influence over his show's capability to succeed. And that's the challenge that we are dealing with right now in 2025. The media is being silenced over MAGA and the Trump administration. It's deeply concerning to me, not just as a media personality and talk show host, but as a woman who is trying to love this country. But I just don't recognize it anymore. Not like I did 10 months ago. It's just not the same. Let me ask you all of this. How would you feel when your freedom of speech is stripped away? If you were in our shoes, then you are going to come back running to us and we are going to say, we told you so. And we know that's exactly what will happen. So, again, there is Whoopi Goldberg also trying to put a lot of pressure on the audience or a lot of pressure on the public to actually feel something for the hosts of The View. She's also trying to gain some sense of sympathy from the general public's point of view. It's not going to work because, look, we all know what Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny did for so many years, you know, almost 10 years, and, you know, consecutively, lying to the audience, lying to the public, lying to newcomers that may have just been getting involved in The View, let's say back in 2017, 2018, right around that time frame, where things really started to escalate big time. And we know one thing is for certain about all of this is that, yes, we know that Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny, they're not going to stop as long as they remain on the air. They're going to keep doubling down on this anti-Trump rhetoric. And look, guys, to be very clear, whether you love or hate Trump, that's fine. You know, your opinions are all welcome below in the comments. But the thing is, I think that when you're looking at the media that's supposed to focus on entertainment topics, or when you're looking at a lot of actors, actresses, writers, directors, producers, comedians, and more, they should all stay in their lane and just stick to show business, period, the end. You know, if you have a political comedian, sure, that's one thing. If you're a political commentator, of course, that's another thing. But if you're an actor, or if you're a media personality that's supposed to entertain, that was once a platform for entertainment, that's what The View once was years ago, and we're talking about a very long time ago. It was never really all that political like it is today in 2025. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys later.